Chapter 1: The Fall. Help! Somebody! Amanda's scream split through the humid jungle air, echoing into the lush silence. Her fingernails scraped against the slick rock as she clung to the narrow ledge, her feet dangling above the thick canopy far below. She had lost her footing along the unmarked trail, part of an overgrown ridge deep within a tropical rainforest in Southeast Asia. Her backpack had tumbled down first, and she'd nearly followed it, saved only by a desperate grasp at a stubborn root. Her arms ached. Sweat dripped into her eyes. Every instinct screamed at her to hang on. But for how long? Then she heard it. Voice. "Don't move. I see you." Through a burst of vines and foliage above, a figure appeared. Tan skin, black hair damp with sweat, rope slung over one shoulder. He moved like he belonged to the forest. "Hold on. I'm coming down." Amanda could barely process what was happening. The man was already scaling down the rocks, barefoot and quick, planting his feet with practiced care. Within minutes, he was by her side. "I've got you," he said, breathing evenly. "I'm Ron. What's your name?" "Amanda," she panted. He secured the rope to a tree root and passed the loop around her waist. "All right, Amanda. Let's get you up. Ready?" Together they climbed, Ron guiding her hands, steadying her footing, never letting go until they reached the ridge. Amanda collapsed onto the ground, eyes wide, heart still hammering. Ron offered her a canteen. "Drink. You're safe now." Chapter 2: Discovery. Ron was a local guide and part-time biology student. He had grown up in a village that bordered the forest and knew the land intimately. Amanda, a travel blogger from Oregon, had come searching for stories. They spent the next few days together. Ron insisted she not hike alone again, and Amanda was only too happy to agree. He showed her secret waterfalls and natural pools few tourists ever saw. They ate fruit fresh off trees, sat by the fire under a jungle moon, and talked late into the night. He told her about his dreams of studying environmental science, about preserving his homeland before it was consumed by tourism. She told him about her longing to escape cubicles, about chasing beauty in the wild. By the time Amanda had to leave, something unspoken lingered in the way their hands touched. "Promise me you'll be safe," Ron said. "Promise me you'll write back," Amanda replied. They didn't kiss, but they didn't need to. Chapter 3: Apart Together. Amanda's journey continued. Rice terraces in Vietnam, temples in Cambodia, beaches in the Philippines. But every place seemed quieter, flatter, dimmer without Ron. She sent emails, sporadically answered. She called, sometimes reached voicemail. Eventually the silence grew heavy. Months passed. Amanda circled back, determined to see him again. She returned to his village, but no one had seen Ron in weeks. Some said he was in the city, others that he had left to work abroad. She waited 4 days, then left heartbroken, unsure if what they shared was ever real. Chapter 4: A Familiar Presence. One gray morning in Portland, Amanda ducked into a local cafe. She had a new job, a new apartment, but the same ache in her chest. She stood in line, ordered her drink, and sat by the window to read. She never noticed the young man behind the counter who froze the moment he saw her. He didn't call out. He watched her for a long moment. She hadn't seen him, hadn't even glanced his way. He hesitated, unsure, then went back to his duties. When his shift ended, he stepped outside into the wet street just in time to see Amanda walking away with her umbrella. Chapter 5: Rain and Recognition. Amanda moved slowly at first, then faster. Something about the quiet street made her uneasy. She kept glancing behind her. Footsteps echoed a few paces back. Someone was following her. Her heartbeat quickened. Turning down a side street, Amanda ducked into a narrow alley. She pressed her back against the cold brick wall, holding her breath, ready to use her heeled shoe if necessary. Footsteps approached. She raised the shoe, trembling. "Amanda, it's me. Ron." She froze. He stepped into view, breathless, hands raised in surrender, rain glistening on his hair. "Ron," she whispered. "Yeah, it's me. I saw you at the cafe. I didn't mean to scare you. I just didn't know how to say hi after all this time." Amanda lowered her shoe, blinking in disbelief. "What, how?" He smiled sheepishly. "Full scholarship. Environmental science program. I've been here 6 months. I kept hoping we'd run into each other. Just didn't expect it to be like this." Amanda laughed, the tension melting into the rain. "You nearly got attacked by a shoe. Would have been worth it." Chapter 6. Reconnection and Doubt. They walked through the rainy streets, unable to stop smiling. Ron explained everything. A scholarship brought him to a university nearby. He worked part-time at the cafe. He had tried to write, but the jungle internet was patchy. His old phone gone after a monsoon flood. Amanda told him about her travels, her doubts, how she had looked for him. They picked up where they left off. Not rushed, but natural. Their worlds, once far apart, now overlapped. They cooked together, camped in Oregon's forests, watched documentaries on rainforest conservation. They argued about laundry, late classes, cultural differences, but always made up. One Saturday, Amanda stopped by the cafe, excited to surprise Ron with movie tickets. Through the window, she saw him at a table, smiling, laughing. Across from him sat a young woman with long dark hair. Their heads leaned in close, their eyes sparkled. Amanda froze. She watched them laugh, watched the girl touch his arm, watched Ron smile back. Her chest tightened. He turned away. For 3 days, she didn't respond to his texts. She ignored his calls. She lay in bed, replaying that image again and again. Was she wrong about him? On the 4th day, Ron showed up at her apartment. "Amanda, please talk to me." She stood at the doorway, arms crossed. "Who's the girl at the cafe? The one you were all cozy with?" Ron blinked, then burst into laughter. "That's my cousin Eliza. She's visiting from Seattle." Amanda stared. "Cousin?" "Yes, we grew up together. She's like a sister." "Amanda, come on. You think I'd flirt with someone else after everything we've been through?" Amanda's shoulders slumped. A blush spread across her cheeks. I jumped to conclusions." Ron smiled and stepped forward. "You cared. That's what matters." Chapter 7. Home. 2 years later, on a hike near Mount Hood, Ron stopped beside a clearing filled with wildflowers. He knelt. "Amanda, I once pulled you up from a cliff. Now I ask, will you stand beside me for the rest of our lives?" She laughed through tears. Yes. Yes. They married that fall in a meadow, barefoot and beaming. Prologue. Amanda wrote about it all. How love found her when she was hanging by a thread. How the jungle gave her a story she'd never planned to live. And sometimes when the wind rustled the trees just right, she could still hear the echo of her own voice, and his, rising from the wild below. Letter to my future self. Dear Amanda, if you're reading this years from now, wherever you are, I hope you still feel the sun on your face the way you did that day by the cliff. I hope you remember the rush of the river, the sound of Ron's voice calling your name from above, and how the world shifted the moment he pulled you to safety. I hope you haven't forgotten the alley, the rain, and how your fear turned to laughter when you saw his face again. I hope you remember that love isn't always convenient or clean or easily explained, but it's real, and it's worth waiting for, worth fighting for. If you ever feel uncertain, go outside. Find the nearest patch of forest. Breathe in the green. Let the quiet remind you of the moments that mattered. Let it take you back to the jungle where it all began. Hold Ron's hand like it's still your first time. Say yes to wild hikes, messy days, quiet nights. Say yes to the unpredictable. And most of all, say yes to love, even when it surprises you. With wonder, Amanda.